Hello! So in today's video I'm going to be playing with the Made by Mitchell Feet on the Ground palette. I have tried the Head in the Clouds, so it was only right that I'd give this one a go too. I created this look with it. It's all mattes. I've used the shimmers before already on my Instagram and I love them, so I thought that I would give an all matte look a go. And yeah, if you want to see how I got this look and see how the palette performed and my views on it, then just stay tuned. So I thought first off I'd give you a little bit of a show of the palette. So here we have it. It's a lovely colour story of like cool toned colours but with like little pops of colour in, and it has like these gorgeous shimmers, like so reflective are these shimmers.
I don't have an answer for that.
You've got like some really like musty muted tones, and that is just like such a must for autumn. So this looks like it could come in really handy for like the autumn months. So yes, you've seen the palette, you've seen the look we're gonna do, so let's get to it. As you can see, I've done one eye, I'm gonna do the other one. I kind of like doing the one eye first just so then I can copy it and then be really direct with what I'm telling you guys. So yes, I'm just gonna go in with a P. Louise 143 brush, which is just a really tiny blending brush, and I'm gonna go in with this shade here, a mixture of this shade here, this like reddy browny colour, which is off-roading, and this yellowy mustardy coloured here, which is Clay Baby. So I'm just going to go in with a tiny bit of that to just get this shape first. So I'm just putting that here. It's just little back and forth motions to just get that colour down. And I'm not being too like precious with the placement of it. I know sort of how I want it to look because of the other eye, so I'm just going in and I'm blending it out, stamping on that darkest colour, that off-roading more towards like the centre of my lid, and then going in with a little bit of Clay Baby to just feather out those edges a little bit. And then next up with a P. Louise 124 brush, which is again another little like mini blending brush. I'm going to go in with this colour up top here, which is called Bored in the House. This like dark, it's kind of like a dark greeny browny colour, and I'm just going to tap that in, and this is going right here on that crease. This is one of those looks where it's going to look absolute dog shit until we get like quite far through the look. So don't hold that against me. So I'm just going in and stamping where that needs to be, and then like with a really light touch, just feathering that outer edge. There. I'm just getting my colours down first, and then I'll go through and like blend everything through in a bit. Just trying to copy the shape as well of that wing. It's not like a massively winged look, but it is like this. So thinking a little bit darker here, winged out slightly. Yeah, and I am being like really light with my placement of this colour because it is quite dark, and obviously these outer edges I'm just really lightly buffing them out. And with this colour I actually went in to my lash line as well to give it that shape, and then just packing this on here to give me that nice wing shape and diffusing those edges. Again, it's gonna look crap until it looks good. But now I've got like that shape out, I'm gonna go in with this green down here, which is called Greener. I'm gonna take my Sigma Precision Firm blending brush, the E42, and I'm just going to tap it in. And I will say with a lot of the eyeshadows in this palette, when I am putting my brush in, for example this shade here, this Bored in the House, when I tap my brush into it, like, I don't know if you can see, but there's a lot of kickback, like, while I'm tapping my brush in. Whereas like with the other shade, like this greener, I'm getting like hardly any kickback whatsoever. So it's a bit like, I expected like the colours in the palette, like for all of the colours to have like a similar formula. But I feel like maybe they don't, just because like some are a lot harder pressed than the others, I feel. Like just by the amount of kickback that's coming off in the palette. I must say there's kickback in the palette, but there's not a lot of like fallout on my face, which again, you know, like I would prefer that. I would prefer the fallout to be in the pan instead of all over my chops. So all I've done with that colour is literally just go along the outer edges of like that dark shape that I'd made. And I'm just going along the outer edges and buffing that all in. And then the final colour that I'm going to go in with, this Chameleon colour here, which is like this really muted green, and this is just going to go all around that last shade that we put down, just to try and blend everything together. And as you can see, this is pretty much going here, there and everywhere to just really blend out those edges. And now we're at a case of the colours are down, and I just need to build everything up to match this eye. So straight off I can see that I need to go in and put some more of that like mustardy colour down, which is Clay Baby. So I'm going in with the same brush that I used for that, and I'm just going to match the colour, like the amount of colour on the lid to that other eye that I did first. This is why I love doing the other, like, one eye first, so then I know what I'm doing already and I can just copy. So where I've put that down with that fluffy brush, I'm just going to really make sure that there's no harsh edges to that. I'm not picking up any more product, just going in with that fluffy brush and diffusing those edges. Can see that maybe, yeah, I do need a little bit more of that off-road colour as well, that like browny colour, just to try and get those matching. And then I can definitely see that I need some of that greener, because the greener comes right up here, whereas over here we're really, really lacking. So going in with the brush that I used for greener, and I'm just going to really build this up to match the other eye. And I'm using like back and forth motions, but just really, really light pressure. Like I'm holding my brush like quite far down so that I've got like this real, like almost just flicking, to just get that really feather light touch between the shadow and my lid. Yeah, and I can see that's already like coming together a lot more. Literally just a case of making sure that that shape and the colours match my other eye. So I can see that the greener came a hell of a lot further up here, and then that lightest green that we used, the Chameleon, went right up into my eyebrow. So we can 100% bring that higher. And then with that fluffy brush, get that Chameleon shade and really pack that on up here in my eyebrow. I don't mind about getting out shadows in my eyebrow. It just gives me more space to play. I'm just going to go in again. It's all about re-intensifying colours and things like that. So I'm just going to go in again and re-intensify this until I'm happy with it. Maybe even a little bit of that ammo colour, which is the black, just a tiny bit, ever so slightly, just to change the tone of that like really dark greeny browny colour. Not to, because I don't like having just black sat on my eye. I use it ever so slightly on top of another colour to just change the tone of that colour and to not actually just have black on my eye. That's really coming together now. So I've just got this into a place where I feel happy with it, and now I'm just going to put the cut crease in so then I can like really fine tune everything else afterwards, because once I've cut it and I know where I'll be at sort of thing. So I'm taking a cotton bud and some micellar water, and all I'm going to do is map out with that cotton bud exactly where I'm going to cut. And as you can see on this eye here, I did like a little sort of like flick here in my inner corner and then into the cut crease. So I'm going to do that again on this side. So a little flick, then into the cut crease. Again, because I have hooded eyes, I do take my cut crease like slightly higher than my hood so you can see. So you can see all that hard work even if I've got my eyes open. And this is really just to remove like any sort of like colour that's going to mix with the P. Louise base that I put down to cut the crease, just so then I don't get like a murky sort of colour. As you can see, that's all gone now. I've just put some of the P. Louise base on the back of my hand, and I'm taking a NYX 14 brush, which is just like a flat brush, and I'm just gonna warm up the P. Louise base on my hand, flick my brush through it so then I get a nice thin tip, and then I'm just gonna cut. And I'm just following that outline that I've made with the micellar water. And going in, patting my brush in the base, and then I can just mark out with the edge of the brush a really sharp cut crease. And then now that that base is down, I'm just patting over that edge to take the tackiness away from that base so that I have a nice smooth transition from this dark eyeshadow onto where I've cut the crease. And then to set this base on the inner corner, I'm going to go in with the shade Bitter Sweet, which is like this really pastel-y greeny colour, and I'm just going to take it on like a flat packing brush this sort of size. I'm just going to tap it in the shadow and pack it onto my lid. Packing straight on right up to that edge so I get a nice crisp clean cut, and I'm taking that right up there. As you can see on this side I've gone quite far, so again I am going to go quite far over and then just dragging that down. And then I'm going to take the black, which is that ammo, and I'm just going to go in on a diagonal here and just colour that diagonal part of my lid in, just like that. And then I'm going to go in with that greener shade and just go at the side of that black and blend that through. And I'm going on an angle just because I like going in on an angle for cut creases and things. And now that I've cut that crease, I'm looking good. I'm gonna just clean up this inner corner here and cut it where I'm wanting it. Again, with the micellar water, because I do quite like this like little shape just to like really elongate your inner corner. And I'm just gonna make sure that the cut creases all look the same. So just building up those colours as and when I feel that they need doing, just to match each other. So for this I will look like straight on and just think, right, what's not matching at the moment? And I just think, I need a little bit of greener up here compared to this eye, because I feel like it's missing. And maybe even a bit more of that Play Baby and Off-Roading here. Just to really make sure that that stands out. And I think looking pretty good, so I'm gonna just do the rest of my face and then I'll be back to give you my final thoughts. So guys, here we are. I've just done my mascara and just added a little bit of eyeliner, some funky eyeliner this time just to jazz it up a bit. But yeah, this is the finished look. I must say, I'm like really impressed with this palette. I liked the Head in the Clouds palette and I like the Feet on the Ground palette. Really good quality eyeshadows. I really love the colour story in it. The greens and the browns, mustardy yellows, that is my sort of look. I must say, this pastel colour here, I don't know if you can see it, but I did have a little bit of trouble packing on like this colour just to make it like really pop. It seemed like when I was packing on, it seemed to be like almost crumbling off. My eye did have a little bit of a water, but I don't know if you can see here like where it's clumped in like this lighter patch. So that is just something to be aware of, but that does tend to happen with like pastel-y sort of colours. I don't know why. I think they're just hard to make. But yeah, I did have a little bit of that, but that was only on like the second application. It still went on great first off, but it was just when I was like sort of topping up to try and up that vibrancy that I just seemed to be having a few issues. But as you can see, the colours blended perfectly, like really lovely. It's a really easy palette to work with, and I haven't used the shimmers in this look, but I have in fact used them in other looks, and they are gorgeous, and as I thought they would be. Thanks for watching guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have liked it, give me a thumbs up, and if you do like this sort of thing, please do consider subscribing because this is pretty much all we do. Comment below if you've used the palette, if you're considering now to use the palette or the Head in the Clouds one. What do you think of the Made by Mitchell brand? I personally think it's fab, but have you lot tried it? Like, leave me a comment because I want to know. And that is it for today guys. Keep safe, keep well, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!